Hi everyone, let me just get myself sorted. How are you doing today? Today, what day is it? It's Thursday. Happy Thursday for those watching live. And if you're not watching live, and whatever day day. So today I want to talk about how to navigate social food and body image anxiety. I'm going to start off by using down because we all know that word all too well by now. But I know from speaking with clients and friends that COVID has brought both anxiety and comfort at the same time. Anxiety more so to begin with, as everything was different, everything was changing, it was unknown and scary because the world was in a full-blown pandemic. We were forced to stay at home, isolate, cut off from friends and family. We all know how it was. I'm sure I don't need to remind you of how that felt. But as lockdown became our new normal, some were secretly pleased about it because no more having to make up an excuse to turn down unwanted social invites, no more mad rushing around to try and fit everything in with the kids, work, gym, etc. And no more wondering what the hell to wear when you was invited for a night out and when you experienced social anxiety. That was no longer even possible in lockdown. So long live pajamas, Netflix and takeaways, and top knots, your hair in a top knot. Basically, our comfort zone became our super comfort zone and it became even more comfortable. And recently in the UK, as I'm speaking this right now, if you're live, of course you know this, it's May 2021 and things are starting to open up again in the UK. Life's kind of getting back to some kind of normal, which is great, that's fantastic. But as I mentioned before, some are feeling anxious about the world opening up again. So there's a pattern here. Anxiety is the unknown and change. Change and the unknown provokes anxiety. So here are some of the concerns that have been shared with me. And I feel each and every one of these. So we have things like, what will my friends and family and co-workers think about my lockdown weight gain? Because Netflix and takeaways were the go-to and comfort eating was real. And things like, I have got so used to staying in and taking time for myself. How the hell will I cope when my life is like busy again? I'm on a diet and I've been able to stick to it with no distractions during lockdown. How will I stay on track when I'm going out for meals again? I've not stopped binging and emotional eating since lockdown. I can't bear for people to see me looking like this. And if I'm faced with even more opportunities to eat, how am I going to manage this? And just, the things that have been coming to me that I've spoke to with family, friends and clients, again, I feel each and every one of those. I really, really do. And this is why I'm going to share with you 7 tips today to navigate all of that. So stay tuned. But before I go into that, what does social anxiety feel like? I would bank on the fact that you already know what this feels like, but I'm just going to recap so we can establish some kind of common ground. Let's play a scenario together. So let's just do like a role play here. So your friend invites you somewhere. Let's say she wants you to be her +1 at a work party, and you immediately say, yeah, that's great, I would love to, thank you for asking me. And then straight away you're like, why the hell did I just say yes to that? You're already kind of thinking what excuse you can use to cancel nearer the time, or what diet you're going to have to start tomorrow. All you know is that you absolutely cannot go to the event looking like you do now. You already are dreading the perceived judgments from others, and you remember that the guy that you liked is going to be there too. So you're in full-on panic mode. Does the scenario I've just described, does it resonate with you? I used to actually be a master at cancelling on people, coming up with the best believable excuses, which, thinking about it, actually made me into a professional white liar. And if I ever did make the event, I would spend the week leading up to the event starving myself to get the flattest stomach possible. And then I would spend most of the night worrying about what my body looked like to other people, constantly clock watching and wondering if it was an appropriate time to sneak off so I could just go home and binge. Anyway, I missed out on so much potential, fun, and connections with other humans because I was so absorbed in worrying about what other people thought about me. And also, I was using all of my willpower to resist the delicious buffet or the delicious food that was on offer, only to go home early and binge by myself anyway. So, how sad is that? Like, I literally feel for my old self, and I feel for anyone who is currently experiencing the same thing or similar to what I've just described, because I've been there, and I remember how chronic thoughts about food and my body consumed my whole life and stopped me from living. But there is another way. It is possible to enjoy social occasions for all that they have to offer without giving food and your body a second thought. It is possible to eat what you want without giving a shit about whether it's going to bloat you or not. Because there is more to life than spending your whole life either on a diet or feeling ashamed about your binging. There is more to life than having a banging body. When all is said and done and you're on your deathbed, are you really going to wish you had got yourself under control? Or are you really going to wish that you'd spent less time worrying about what you look like and more time living and experiencing instead? So I'll leave that with you before we go into our 7 tips to help you navigate food and body anxiety and social occasions. But before I start by giving you tip number 1, I have a masterclass, a free masterclass that is launching on the 26th of May. So that's in 2 weeks' time on a Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. UK time. It's a free masterclass. It's going to be so jam-packed full of value. I'm going to give you the exact steps you need to live in food and body freedom. So if you want to claim your free seat, the link will be below. Whether you're listening or watching this, there's going to be a link below. So check that out. I would love to have you there. All right, so number 1. See the truth about other people's comments. If anyone comments about your body or your weight, no matter what their intention for doing so, all they are doing is projecting their insecurities onto you. Our perceptions are our projections. The deeper the wound, the harsher the judgment. Do you want another quote? I know you do. What anyone else thinks about you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. If someone feels the need to comment unkindly about your body or your weight, they're only projecting their unresolved issues, their unresolved shit basically, onto you. So although this may hurt you emotionally, the more you remind yourself of the universal truth that is, what people think about you are not facts. What you think about yourself are not facts either, by the way. It will be easier to just practice letting it all go. I kind of want to go into song and start singing Elsa Let It Go, but I absolutely cannot sing, so I won't do that to you. But before I go on to tip number 2, a side note on perceptions. So each and every one of us sees the world through our own filters, okay? So our own individual filters, they were developed within us when we were children through social and parenting conditioning. These filters are our perceptions of how we see the world. These filters are basically our unconscious minds. And our unconscious minds, this is like mind-blowing, automatically run 90% of our thoughts, feelings, behaviours and results. Basically, they rule our whole entire lives unless we consciously decide to change it by becoming aware of this and then choosing what to do going forward. So imagine this was really random when this came out, when I wrote this, but it kind of just came out of nowhere. So I'm going to share it with you and just bear with me. Imagine being born into a world where the moment you were born and opened your eyes, you were fitted with brown coloured contact lenses. And everyone around you in the same world wears these brown coloured contact lenses because many years ago, someone in a position of power decided that's just what should happen. Okay, having these brown contact lenses on your eyes since birth will of course cause you to see everything with a brownish tinge to it, but you wouldn't ever even realise that because you'd had them on since birth. You didn't know any different. Now imagine taking these lenses off for the first time now, however old you are now. Imagine how you would see the world without that brown tinge to everything that you look at. It would be completely different for you, wouldn't it? The world that you saw. So let me get to the point of what I'm trying to make here. Now imagine that the brown coloured lenses that I've just shared with you are today's social judgments and opinions about weights, fat, and women's bodies. So you would see the world and everybody in it, including yourself, especially yourself, through the filter of what is and what isn't acceptable for women's bodies to look like. You wouldn't believe it to be true because that's all you had ever known, and everyone around you thinks the same way too. So when we enter the world of body positivity, body neutrality and self-love, you slowly take off these brown coloured contact lenses that you've been wearing since birth, and you see the world as a beautiful, vibrant and miraculous thing that it actually is. And every single one of us are miracles, and nature celebrates diversity. We are supposed to be different. So my point is, in this weird story about brown contact lenses, is it's okay if other people haven't removed their brown coloured lenses yet. It's okay if you haven't removed your brown coloured lenses yet, because when you do, other people's opinions about your body will not matter to you in the slightest, because you'll know the truth of who you really are, which is a child of the universe, a child of God, whatever your beliefs are. And you was created to be the person you are today, looking exactly as you look right now and in each moment of your life. Okay, so that was a little bit of a tangent about perceptions, but I'm going to give you the second tip to navigate social anxiety around food and body. And number 2 is to learn how to detach yourself from your thoughts and emotions. So there's a few different steps to this. I'm just going to give them to you now. So the first one is to acknowledge that you're feeling anxious about your body or food or both. And then know that you are not the anxiety. You are only feeling the anxiety. So avoid saying things to yourself like, I am so anxious right now, or I am a binge eater, I am an emotional eater. You are not the feeling or the thing, you are just experiencing it. And then the next is to become the watcher. So by taking a back seat and observing, noticing the emotion that you're feeling, you become the watcher of that emotion. You don't become consumed by it. And then you can stay present. So resist the urge, and this is so hard, I know. Resist the urge to escape what you don't want to feel. So don't try to avoid or to numb the anxiety that you feel, either by attempting to stuff your emotions down with food, alcohol, or scrolling on your phone. Allow the feeling to be there and let it be felt and pass through you. It's like someone knocking on your door and they refuse to go away until you've opened the door and asked them what they want to tell you. They're gonna just stay knocking on your door louder and louder until you let them in. So you may as well just let them in straight away and just ask them what they want to tell you. So it's the same with your anxiety. Let your anxiety in, let it be there, and ask it what it wants. The next step is, it may sound a bit strange, but thank your anxiety for being there, because the anxiety is actually ultimately only trying to protect you in a roundabout way from potential perceived harm, for example, judgments from others. So then you can pour compassion into yourself. Don't be annoyed that you feel anxious about your body or around food. Nothing good ever comes from self-punishment, and everything good comes from self-compassion. And the last step on how to not be consumed by your thoughts and emotions is to ask yourself in the moment, what do I need right now? So it may be going to the bathroom and taking a few deep breaths. It may be sharing how you're feeling with someone that you trust. It may be giving yourself a little pep talk and some love. It may be moving your body by walking or dancing to change the state that you're in. I say this a lot, but emotions are energy in motion. If we don't allow them to pass through us or move through our body, they're going to get stagnant, they're going to get stuck, and they'll manifest through dis-ease and all sorts of other ways that you don't want them manifesting. So allow yourself to feel them in order to heal them and for them to pass through. Okay, so tip number 3 is don't abandon yourself. So if you're anything like I used to be, the anxiety that you feel about an upcoming event that may cause you to skip meals and do everything possible to get yourself and your body under control, quote, under control, before the event. This is actually abandoning yourself. If it was your responsibility to look after a dependent child for the week or weeks leading up to this event that you're so anxious about, would you treat the child the same way that you treat yourself? And if the answer is no, why do you think you deserve to be treated in any way that is not loving or caring or kind? If your body doesn't look the way you want her to look, is it fair for you to deprive her of nourishment, of self-care, of positive self-talk and kindness, just so that you can attempt to control other people's opinions of you, which will actually never be able to control anyway? I get it that the anxiety you may be feeling up to the event, whatever it may be, whether the event is just going for a walk with friends that you've not seen for such a long time because of lockdown, or maybe it's going to a party or on a night out, the anxiety can be so overwhelming. But by abandoning yourself, by speaking to yourself like shit, starving yourself to get your stomach as flat as possible, or anything else you might do in an attempt to be good enough, it will only set yourself up for failure. If you arrive anywhere starving as well, let's say you do that leading up to the event and you arrive absolutely starving, you're only going to be fighting with yourself not to binge the second you come into contact with any food. So take care of yourself, nourish yourself with food, with self-care, with positive self-talk leading up to the event, on the day of the event, and always. Okay, number 4, give yourself permission to eat exactly what it is you want. So whether the place you're going to has a set menu or whether you get to choose what you want from a big menu, when you're there, give yourself 100% permission to eat exactly what it is that you want. Don't be anxiously looking at the menu either before you even get there or whilst you're there, anxiously trying to choose the smallest possible meal with the lowest amount of calories. But on the other hand, don't just eat everything just because you're allowed, quote, allowed to, because it's a cheat day. Don't do that either. Eat what it is that you really, really want. So tune into your body and imagine eating a few of the different things on the menu, and then choose what feels best for you physically, mentally, and emotionally. Relax into your desires, be present, and enjoy the whole experience. When you find yourself being consumed with how your body might look to someone, or how bloated you may or may not be, or what you've eaten, come back to the present moment. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you smell? What's going on around you? Come back to the moment and just let all the consuming thoughts go. Practice letting it go. All right, number 5 is this is a big one, I think, is set healthy boundaries. If people that you hang around with, or the people that you speak to often in your life, are always talking about what diet they're on, how much weight they've lost or how much weight they've gained, or if they're judging others on their bodies. Set healthy boundaries for yourself around them so you can skillfully change the conversation, or you can just politely outright ask them, would you mind talking about something else? You can explain that you're practicing body acceptance, you're working on healing your relationship with food, and these type of conversations can be triggering for you. And they may look at you a bit strangely to begin with because it's the norm to talk about these things. Remember the brown contact lens analogy I used earlier? It's normal to talk about diet, food, body, weight. It's so normal. It's like, what else do you talk about, right? But if they love and care about you, it won't be a problem. You might even strike someone's interest in what you're learning, which is amazing, and you can share with them what you're doing. If they don't respect your request to stop the conversation or to change the conversation to something else, then you can remove yourself from the situation by going to talk to someone else or taking yourself off to the toilet or look at your phone, because you, more than anyone else in the entire universe, deserve your love and your kindness, and it's so important to keep choosing yourself and putting yourself and your needs first. All right, number 6. This is the best one out of the 7 tips. Do the inner work to heal your core wound. So I'm sure you knew that this one was coming sooner or later, but by getting to the root cause of the problem, the core wound of your food and body image anxiety, you will be able to heal this, and then therefore the anxiety will just naturally melt away, just like an ice cube just melting in the summer. If you only focus on navigating the side effects of the root cause, the side effects being disordered eating, body image anxiety, binge eating, chronic dieting, emotional eating, preoccupied with how your body looks, low self-esteem and low confidence, just to name a few, you're going to have to continue navigating these things for the rest of your life unless you heal your core wound, which is usually one of, a mixture of, or all of the following. Never feeling good enough at your core. Self-worth is dependent on how the body looks. Lack of self-love, lack of self-worth. When your beliefs are self-limiting, and what I mean by self-limiting, these are a few examples. I'm not lovable unless I'm a size fill in the blank. I won't be accepted if I look like this. Everyone's going to judge me. I want to be healthy, and health means I must lose weight. Weight gain is the worst thing that can happen to me, etc. Right? I used to have all of those things. They will keep you stuck in the never-ending cycle of dieting and binging, losing weight, and then gaining it again. You know exactly how that feels, which is precisely why you're listening or watching this right now. Giving up your pursuit, this is really important, so listen closely. Giving up your pursuit of chasing weight loss and working on healing your relationship with food and loving yourself does not mean that you will stay forever in the body that you have now, or that you'll forever keep putting weight on until you pop. What it does mean is that you're able to pursue health and actually achieve health as well, and wellness, all over wellness from a non-diet perspective, and love yourself unconditionally. That's exactly why I do what I do, to show women how to become the healthiest versions of themselves, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's the best work, and I say work in brackets because it's not work, it's my passion, it's my purpose. It's the best ever. All right, and the last tip is number 7, and that's embody your dream. So I want you to do a little exercise with me right now. So if you're driving, don't do this right now because it involves closing your eyes. So I want you to close your eyes and visualize yourself at a social event that usually brings so much anxiety for you. So whether that anxiety comes from the way your body looks, or having to restrain yourself around food, or not being able to stop yourself from binging, or maybe it's all of those things, just tune into that now. Vision yourself in a situation where you usually feel anxious around food in your body. Tune into that now. Okay, you got it? Now I want you to replace that version of you with a version of you that has done the inner work. She's worked on healing her relationship with food. She's comfortable in her body and she loves herself unconditionally. So visualize that now. Avoid purposely visualizing you at your goal weight. If you envisioned you at your goal weight without consciously choosing that, then this is okay. Just allow whatever comes up to come up. So tune into that now. So tune into that event that used to bring you anxiety or usually brings you anxiety. Replace yourself with your new version of you who has done all the work. She's free in her body. She's full of self-love. She's free around food. Tune into that. How does she feel at this event? What is she thinking? How is she talking to herself? What is she choosing to eat? How is she interacting with others? How is she comfortably standing or sitting or walking around? How does it feel to be her? Just really tune into that right now. How does it feel to be her? And what I want you to do, you can open your eyes now. Next time you notice, it can be any time, anywhere, whether you're by yourself, in a social occasion, whatever. Next time you notice you're feeling anxious, I want you to practice being that version of yourself, the free, self-loving version of you that is 1,000% possible and available for you. And if you're struggling, I want you to ask yourself in each moment, what would that free, self-loving, confident version of me do now? And then go and do that. Even if you can only manage being her for 1 minute out of a 3-hour social event, 1 minute is better than none. Then keep on practicing being her for as long as you can. When you keep practicing that, you're actually embodying that version of you. That's what the word embodiment means. It's being the person who you want to be. And eventually, if you keep on doing this with the right knowledge and support, you will become her. It won't be a practice anymore. You will actually be living as the free, self-loving version of you. And let me tell you, you will never ever look back. If you would like a proven step-by-step method to live in true food and body freedom and love yourself unconditionally, then consider reaching out to me, explore the one-to-one coaching options. I have a group coaching that I'm launching in 2 weeks' time, which is what the masterclass is for. And when we have a call to see if coaching is right for you, I don't just do 15-minute clarity calls, which, I kind of did say that a bit sarcastic. I didn't mean it that way, but I block out 2 hours for you to get to know you, to discuss what's going on for you. We can see if we're on the same vibe, and then we can discuss what it would look like to work together. So it's important to me we don't rush anything. It's important to me that we're well matched going forward for your transformation. So I hope these 7 tips helped. I love each and every one of you more than you can even imagine. And if you need me, please reach out to me. Please tag a friend if this helps, and have the most amazing day. And